Everyone is celebrating Bitcoin ETFs. Wall Street is smiling, institutions are buying, and the media keeps telling you this is the final step to mainstream adoption. At first glance, it looks like a victory. Billions are flowing in, pension funds are involved, and the price is responding. Bitcoin has finally arrived, or so they say. But here's the uncomfortable truth. What's good for BlackRock may not be good for Bitcoin. And let me say this upfront. If you want Bitcoin explained without hype, without noise, and without the sugarcoating, then hit like and subscribe now. Because here, we climb the mountain one block at a time and we look at what really matters. Stay with me until the end, because the deeper we go, the more you'll realize why this ETF story isn't the clear victory everyone wants you to believe. Let's start with the simple part. Why do people love ETFs? It's convenience. For the first time ever, an investor can buy Bitcoin without touching an exchange, without worrying about private keys, and without leaving their comfort zone. Pension funds, insurance companies, family offices, all of them can suddenly add Bitcoin with a single click. And yes, the numbers are massive. Billions of dollars have already poured into these funds. Every financial headline screams the same thing. Bitcoin has finally gone mainstream. And you know what? In the short term, that's bullish. New inflows, higher liquidity, new credibility. It all sounds like a victory. But if you stop there, you miss the deeper story. And this is where most people get it wrong. Because when you buy a Bitcoin ETF, you don't actually own Bitcoin. You don't hold a private key. You don't hold sovereignty. What you own is paper, an exposure, a promise that someone else somewhere has the real coins sitting in a vault. And who holds those coins? Wall Street custodians, the very same players Bitcoin was designed to escape. Think about that for a moment. An asset created to break free from banks, now being locked inside bank vaults. Bitcoin, the tool of financial independence, being wrapped up, boxed in, and labeled as just another product. It's almost ironic. 15 years ago, cypherpunks imagined Bitcoin as the tool to exit the system, and today that very system is building new walls around it. Yes, ETFs drive price in the short term. They bring liquidity, they make adoption look easy, and they push Bitcoin into portfolios that would never have touched it otherwise. But long term, they create a dangerous illusion. The illusion that Bitcoin is just another ticker symbol, another line item in a brokerage account, another asset class like gold, stocks, or bonds, and that illusion strips Bitcoin of its power. Bitcoin wasn't built to make Wall Street richer, it was built to give you financial freedom. What do you think? Are Bitcoin ETFs a step forward for adoption, or are they slowly killing the very idea of Bitcoin? Let me know in the comments, I'll be reading them. The more people settle for exposure, the fewer people actually learn what Bitcoin is about, the fewer people hold their own keys. And in the end, if most of the Bitcoin sits in Wall Street vaults, can we really call that adoption? Here's something you won't hear in the mainstream. ETFs centralize Bitcoin. Instead of millions of individuals holding their own keys, we end up with a handful of custodians controlling enormous piles of Bitcoin, a concentration of power that goes directly against the spirit of decentralization. And if history has taught us anything, it's this. When power concentrates, abuse follows. Governments lean harder. Regulators interfere more. And ordinary investors end up further away from the freedom that Bitcoin was meant to deliver. Let me give you some perspective. Bitcoin has faced bigger challenges than ETFs. Remember Mt. Gox, the single biggest exchange collapse in Bitcoin's history? 90% of all trading went through that one exchange, and when it failed, everyone said Bitcoin was finished. It wasn't. Remember when China banned Bitcoin mining again and again? Half the network went offline overnight. Everyone declared Bitcoin dead, and yet, in less than 6 months, the network healed itself and came back even stronger. Remember the block size wars? Years of brutal debate about scaling forks and the future of the network. Many thought it would split Bitcoin forever. But it didn't. It simply proved that the protocol bends, but it doesn't break. Now compare those moments to ETFs. Do you really think a Wall Street product is the greatest danger Bitcoin has ever faced? It's not. Bitcoin has survived worse storms, and every time it came back stronger. Now let me give you the Alpinehodler perspective. Bitcoin ETFs are bullish for price, but bearish for freedom, and that's a trade I will never accept. The real Bitcoiners know the truth. If it's not in your wallet, it's not yours. If you don't hold the keys, you don't hold the coins. That's why I keep stacking BTC. That's why I hold my own keys. And that's why I keep dry powder ready, not to chase hype, but to buy the dips when others forget what Bitcoin truly represents. Because Bitcoin is not just another investment product. It's not another Wall Street toy. It is freedom money. And here's what matters most. Even if ETFs try to box Bitcoin in, the fundamentals never change. The supply is still capped. The blocks still tick forward. The network still runs day after day, no matter what Wall Street does. Bitcoin is anti-fragile. Every attack makes it stronger. Every attempt to control it only proves why it's needed. So yes, Bitcoin ETFs can pump the chart. They can bring new attention, new inflows, and new headlines, but they cannot change what Bitcoin is. They cannot change 21 million. They cannot change the fact that the network has run for over 15 years without a single day of downtime. Bitcoin has weathered storms far greater than Wall Street products. It survived Mt. Gox, it survived China, it survived the block size wars, and every time people declared it finished, it simply proved them wrong. So don't let the ETF hype distract you. The signal is the same as it always was. Bitcoin is the hardest money on earth. If this gave you clarity, give the video a like. And if you want more Bitcoin without the hype, subscribe. I'll be here next week, still stacking BTC, still holding my own keys, and still calling out the noise.